Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. I'm Dr. Siti Nadia. Today, I'm going to demonstrate to you on how to do border molding and secondary impression using zinc oxide Eugenol impression paste for your preclinical project in Prosthodontics operative technique. Okay, first and foremost, these are the instruments and materials required for your border molding procedures. You will need Vaseline and its brush, wax knife, lacron cover, indelible pencil, Greenstick Compound, study models and special trays of maxillary and mandibular arches, as well as lighter and spirit lamp. Before everything else, you must first understand that border molding is very important to achieve good peripheral seal for your complete dentures. This will be obtained by recording the sulcus depth and thickness. Before you start the border molding, it is a good practice for you to double check the extension of your special tray. Make sure the flanges of your special tray is trimmed off 2 mm away from the sulcus depth. This to create sufficient space for your Greenstick Compound material to be molded effectively in your patient's mouth. Don't forget to inspect the flanges of your mandibular special tray as well. It should be 2 mm shorter than the sulcus depth. This to ensure sufficient space for your border molding. Okay, now let's begin the border molding procedures for the maxillary arch. Heat the Greenstick Compound carefully, make sure it does not catch the fire and become overheated. Once the Greenstick Compound has softened, you can start applying the Greenstick Compound to the flanges of your maxillary special tray. Make sure the amount of Greenstick Compound material is adequate enough to be embedded into the sulcus depth. You also need to make sure that your special tray is properly seated on the study model. Wait for the Greenstick Compound to harden by cooling it down. Once the Greenstick Compound has hardened, you can remove it from the cast and inspect the border molding. The recorded Greenstick Compound should be rounded as shown here. Repeat the same procedure by heating up the Greenstick Compound until it's softened and apply anterior to the previously recorded sulcus. Again, please ensure that the amount of Greenstick Compound is adequate enough to be embedded and record the sulcus depth and thickness. While waiting for it to harden, what you can do is to apply some Vaseline to your finger and adapt the excess of your Greenstick Compound to the external surface of your special tray. Remember, this demo is for OPTECH practical purposes, so you don't have the ability to mold the soft tissue or masticatory muscles as obtained in the patient's mouth. Once it hardens, take out and inspect the border molding. As you can see here, there is a step from the newly recorded border molding to the previously recorded border molding area. So what you can do, soften back the Greenstick Compound and adapt it again into the sulcus area. Repeat these steps until it creates a continuous and smooth border molding along the periphery of maxillary special tray flanges. Any excess of the Greenstick Compound in the internal surface of your special tray should be removed using scalpel blade. Make sure to use the scalpel blade carefully with stable finger rest to avoid any self-injury. To ease the excess removal, you can also use portable torch to soften only the excess Greenstick Compound area without damaging your properly recorded sulcus. Now, the excess Greenstick Compound can be easily removed. Once you have removed all the excess in the internal tray, inspect the border molding and make sure frenum, sulcus depth and thickness are all recorded. The border moulding should be smooth and continuous all around the tray without any void or steps. After border moulding, in real patient, you need to check for suction effect. However, because this demo was done only on the cast, not in patient, you can only check the suction effect by holding your tray and model like this. If your special tray stays on the cast against the gravity, it is considered okay. Okay, now we are going to repeat all the same procedures on the mandibular special tray. The Greenstick Compound was applied incrementally until all the periphery of mandibular special tray is completely border molded. You can also soften back the Greenstick Compound in hot water to adapt and record the sulcus area. Once you have completed applying Greenstick Compound throughout all mandibular sulcus, again, inspect your border moulding. The border moulding should be rounded and continuous without any steps. Greenstick excess at the fitting surface of special tray should be carefully removed using scalpel blade and lacron cover. Once you have removed all the excess in the internal tray, inspect the border moulding and make sure frenum, sulcus depth and thickness are all recorded. The border moulding should be smooth and continuous all around the tray without any void or steps. Once we have completed border moulding for both maxillary and mandibular arches, we are now ready for the next procedure, which is secondary impression using zinc oxide eugenol impression material. These are the instruments and materials needed for zinc oxide eugenol impression taking: metal spatula, straight plaster spatula, mixing pad, zinc oxide eugenol impression paste, special trays with satisfactory border moulding, and its corresponding maxillary and mandibular study models. Please remember to lubricate the study model's surfaces with generous amounts of Vaseline to avoid the impression material from sticking to the dental stone upon removal of your final impression later. Apply an equal length of white zinc oxide paste and red eugenol paste on the mixing pad. Use metal spatula to gather both paste in the center of mixing pad and mix the red eugenol paste together with the white zinc oxide paste until a homogeneous pink mixture is achieved. The zinc oxide eugenol mixture is then loaded into the special tray. Tray border should also be covered with the impression material. Make sure all impression materials are uniformly distributed within the tray, and then it should be properly seated on the study models. Apply Vaseline to your finger and adapt the excess of impression materials to the external surface of special tray. In real patient, this is when you repeat the border moulding movements to record all the anatomical details of the sulcus depth and thickness. Wait for the impression material to be fully set before you remove the impression. Use your fingernail to check whether the zinc oxide eugenol has fully set or not. If there is indentation marking, that means the zinc oxide eugenol impression has not yet fully set. Another technique is by using the excess materials on the mixing pad. Zinc oxide eugenol impression will not stick together when it is fully set. Once the zinc oxide eugenol impression has fully set, remove the impression tray carefully from the study model. Inspect the impression surface and observe if there is any voids. All the anatomical landmarks of denture-bearing area should be properly recorded, such as hamular notch, maxillary tuberosity, fovea palatini, vibrating line, frenum of labial and buccal sulcus, and most importantly, a continuous and smooth border moulding are achieved. Now, we are going to do final impression on mandibular study model. Repeat all the instructed procedures for final impression that were previously mentioned. Once the zinc oxide Eugenol impression has fully set, remove the impression tray carefully from the study model. Inspect the impression surface and observe if there is any voids. All the anatomical landmarks of denture-bearing area should be properly recorded, such as retromolar pad, retromylohyoid area, lingual sulcus and frenum, labial sulcus and frenum, buccal sulcus and frenum, and buccal shelf. Again, inspect your impression and make sure all the border moulding are continuous and smooth without any bubbles or voids. Now, we have completed the final impression using zinc oxide Eugenol impression paste on both maxillary and mandibular arches. Thank you. All the best.